A good word, a good word, Alleluia, my heart.
Now, my guess is that one of our Sunday school students can tell me what is the special day today in our church calendar. What are we celebrating today here at church? Yes, Gabriel. The Sunday of Orthodoxy. Today is the Sunday of Orthodoxy. On the Sunday of Orthodoxy, we do some very important things. And in a few minutes, we're going to all walk around the church holding what? You guys tell me. Holding our icons. That's right. Now, icons are very important because icons, they teach us three things that are critically important to our salvation. But before we talk about the three critically important things that icons teach us about our salvation, we have to remember this, that two times in the history of the church, not one time, two times in the history of the church, there were people in the church who wanted to throw all of the icons out, wanted to get rid of them. They were called the iconoclasts, or the icon breakers. They wanted to get the icons out of the church because they made a big mistake in their thinking about icons. They believed that when we made the sign of the cross and that we kissed the icons, they believed that we were worshiping the icons. But do we worship icons? No, we don't. We venerate icons. We worship only God, but we show honor to saints and holy events by venerating icons. It's very important for all of us to know the difference between veneration, which is honoring, and worship, which is complete and total adoration, giving our whole selves over to a thing. We venerate saints, we venerate icons, we venerate relics. We only worship God and nobody else. So the icons, they teach us three really important things. The most important thing they teach us, before Jesus came, we couldn't have painted an icon of God, right? Because God was way up in heaven. No one had ever seen him. When Moses came close to him, he had to hide behind a rock because God's presence was too powerful for Moses. But then a miracle happened. God became a human being. And all of a sudden, God could sit at table and eat with other human beings. All of a sudden, God could cry like other human beings. He could laugh like other human beings because God became a human being in Jesus. So when we paint an icon of Jesus, we are reminded of the most important thing in the history of the world, that God became a man. And because he became a man, we can paint a picture of him now. We couldn't have done that before. That's the first and most important things that icons teach us. Two, icons teach us that because God became a human being and other people worshiped God and devoted their lives to them, that those people became holy. Those people became saints. Those people went to heaven. So the second thing that we learn from Sunday of Orthodoxy is that not only did God become a human being, but that when we worship God and devote our whole lives to him, we can become holy. We can be saved. We can go to heaven. So we see in the icons of the saints that second super important point about our salvation that icons bring us. Now, the third thing that icons teach us, when an icon starts out, it's just a piece of wood. And it's just, a bunch of paint. But what we do when we make the icon is we try to transform it into something that shows us salvation. Something that shows us Jesus. Something that shows us the saints. Something that shows us sanctity. And so in that way, icons are like a little imitation of God's salvation. And so what we find is that when Jesus became a man, not only does he redeem or save or make holy the saints, but he redeems, saves, and makes holy the whole universe. So even the tree is saved by Christ. Even the river is saved by Christ. Even the sky is saved by Christ. The puppy dog and the elephant. All of God's creation is enveloped with this outpouring of love that is the incarnation of Christ. So today, as we process around the church, we have to remember that we're not just processing and like throwing a little party because the icon people won the fight 1,000 years ago. We're having this procession to remind ourselves of what icons mean. That Jesus is God incarnate. That God became a person. That through him we can be saved as the saints were saved. And that through that salvation all of the world can be saved by Christ. So today when we process, what we're doing is we're asserting that God became man and saved the world. And that's what we are celebrating.
A good word, a good word. Alleluia. My heart